All right. Well, I guess we'll get started. If everybody's on, started recording. So I'm going to call the May meeting to order with a salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag
of
the United
America.
States of America.
To the republic.
To the republic for which it stands.
One nation.
Under God.
Indivisible.
With
Liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Okay. All right. And again, thank you everybody for taking in this conference call. I know it's it's a little bit different times, but hopefully things are starting to look a little better. Hopefully, maybe in June we can maybe try to get together in person again. We'll see how it progresses over the next month, but play it by ear for now. Going to continue to keep the town hall closed for the month of May, I believe, for the planning and zoning board meetings again. Again, looking towards June is maybe hopefully soonest we'd probably be able to open everything up. So we'll play it by ear. Let's get started with our prior town board meeting minutes. Anybody have any corrections, comments?
Move to approve.
I submitted a couple to Mary. I think you got them fixed already, right, Mary?
Yes, I did. So I can send out corrected copies. They were kind of minor, right, Chris, I guess?
Yeah, they were minor.
Typing errors. Yeah,
okay.
So they're corrected.
Okay. So we got a motion. We got a second?
Bob?
Okay.
I'll second Bob.
I'll second Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Move on to the written communications to the board. The clerk report. I did give everybody a copy of Mary's clerk report, so you have it in front of you. There should be no questions on it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, but otherwise I'll just accept the clerk report as is. Thank you, Mary.
Okay, you're welcome.
And do we have anything for mail review? I don't know if you've picked anything up, Mary, to discuss.
I do not have anything for the mail. No.
Okay.
Nothing. No. It's been pretty quiet as far as that goes.
I know you've been down to the town hall several times, which I don't like you being in there that often. But
well, I do have to get the mail, and
it is closed, so hopefully it's decontaminated. So hopefully it'll be all right. Okay, correspondence for the web committee. I don't know, Chris. You can maybe if you have anything to update on, you can do that in committee reports, I guess.
Sure.
Web. All right, Bob, you have anything under committee reports and updates?
Not that much. Just a little. I think everybody's pretty well aware that some of the planting went on recently in the park. We got some bushes and a few small trees that will be coming along, I guess. And we also, I think most everybody's aware that we marked out a possible route for the path going up the hill to the monument. That string is still there, marking it, and if it's sagged when you look at it, just kind of pull it a little bit and you'll get an idea of what the grade will be. I've actually gone over and pulled it out and refastened it 3 or 4 times, but it does tend to sag.
Okay.
The other thing I mentioned, I thought, and this was something that Ray initiated, but we had a Wednesday night for giving out masks and sanitizer, and I think we had about 35 or 40 people there. Ray, would you say?
It's probably close to that. Sure, it was a pretty good turnout for what I thought it would be. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it went pretty well. People appreciated it for those that were there, and I've had a couple of requests. In fact, one of them today from Adam was asking if we had any more masks, and I told him and we took them inside the town hall and got them a couple of packages. And for anybody else that knows anybody that needs them, there's still half a box full of packages with 5 masks in a package that are in the town hall in Mary's office.
Yes, it's probably about a couple
Ray,
hundred.
You said we were going to be getting some more also from
Greg Finger told me. Greg Finger told me that Neimer is also sending masks out to towns they cover. So they were in decontamination mode right now, but they should be coming. I would suggest probably anytime in next week here sometime.
Okay.
Yep. So we can maybe set up another time once we get receive some more to try to do it again for people.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any better way to let people know. I know you sent it out to several different email lists, but a couple people said they didn't hear about it.
Well, the only thing I could think is we could possibly advertise it in the paper. The only problem with doing that is, you could have, people coming from all over the place if not necessarily residents that need it, but it may be the only other way to reach out a little broader net.
Right. The other thing we could do is we could put an announcement on GTEL Community Channel that still keeps it local.
That's true. That would help too as well. So I'm just waiting to see if we get some more masks, because right now we maybe have a couple hundred left. So we probably went through 400 close to it the other night. We actually gave quite a few for the people that showed up. So if we do receive more, then I think that would be the time to set up another time to hand it out. We do have plenty of gallons of hand sanitizer, and we do have probably 50 to 60 roughly 2-ounce bottles in the town hall still left, the smaller hand sanitizer. But if anybody needs any, if anybody needs anybody, please let them know to get a hold of me or get a hold of Mary. She'll let me know, and we'll certainly get it to them.
Excuse me.
But
Ray, if we have enough masks, I wouldn't mind picking some up. I had an aunt who made some, and as it turns out, they're a little small.
Sure.
May have
plenty.
something to do with my facial features, but but I thought I was all set. That's why I didn't bother. But if you do have some left down there, I may be interested in picking up a few of them.
Yeah, absolutely. You said did you tell me you don't have a key to get in the hotel hall?
I don't have one.
You don't have one.
Yeah.
Okay, because you should have a key. I know Mary gave them out. It's one time or another, right? Mary, you gave everybody one, I thought.
I did. I thought I did. Maybe not.
No, I never had one. I never had one. So it's not like I lost it. I never had one.
Okay.
But
all right,
in Mary's defense, I never asked for one either.
Yeah, nor did I. It's not an emergency, but yes, I would be happy to have one.
Okay.
Whenever.
Well, if you want, we could set up a time I can meet you over there, Chris, and I'll get you whatever you need out of there if you want. That's fine.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, we'll arrange that. We can arrange that later on. That's fine. Anytime you want.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. But yeah, other than that, I think it went well. I think, like I said, if we could, reach out to a few more people would be great. Mary had somebody that called her looking for some that couldn't make it, and I actually delivered them, to their house the other day. I went over there Saturday afternoon right after Mary called me and told me about it. So,
So,
but,
Ray, maybe I could, even though we don't have a date or anything like that, I could post something on the website now indicating that more will be coming. Would that make sense? I mean, do you feel like there's enough coming?
Yeah,
where we
stay
could do that
tuned
in
for the second time or second event. Absolutely. That way, once we make sure we have enough, then we could set it up again. Sure.
Right. That way, if somebody is looking now and they realize that they had missed it, maybe if they look again, they'll say, "Oh, there's more coming," and they'll come back to the website and get an update whenever they want to come in and get those.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Let's put that out there. That way, another date coming next week sometime. That way, we can let them know. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that after our meeting.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Let's move on to Lindsay. What do you have?
Yeah. Sure. So, two things on the park. Don can report on the related grants. So the planting was a success. We stayed well under the $3,000 sort of cap that we set for this planting. And sorry for the back and forth on all of that. It was a little chaotic at the last minute, but anyways, we got the trees. They're beautiful, very, very healthy. And they should bloom this summer. So that'll be really nice to see that real progress and immediate progress. There were a few trees that we wanted to order that actually didn't come in, but there were a number of shrubs that were planted: witch hazel, winterberry holly, dogwoods, 6 crabapple trees. So we have sort of completed that entrance, although we haven't done the fencing yet. and then 3 hawthorn trees. The committee was very grateful for Amy Perilla's help, who at the last minute brought a lot of hoses over so we could water in the trees. And I've seen that since then. I assume the highway department has set up hoses, so that's great, which will certainly be needed. So thank you, Ray, for handling that. And also Ray was incredibly important in bringing over the excavator, which is just a requirement for planting in that soil. Some parts of it are very, very rocky, and it would have just been impossible for the few volunteers that we assembled to make that happen. So Ray, thank you very much for coming on Saturday morning and making that possible.
No problem. Thank you guys. Obviously, thank you guys for all the work that was put into it. So
yeah. And we got everything.
With all the rain we've had, they should be well watered right now.
I think so. I would hope so, for sure. Yeah, the timing was really, really helpful. It'll save us a lot of work. And the volunteers went back. A couple other park committee volunteers went back, and they, I think, moved most of that sod and rocks and so on that were sort of in piles. So I think most of the site is cleaned up now, and the park committee will take care of watering, I think, from here on out. And the park committee did have a meeting after that on April 26th over the phone, and they nominated Amy Perella as the chair of the committee, and Jennifer Phillips stepped up to be secretary of the committee. And they came up with a purpose for the committee too, which I can just read. It is: the Claremont Parks Committee will execute the Hetling and Claremont Park Plan in accordance with the town board's priorities. Each activity will be communicated from the committee to the town liaison to the town board, which is, I guess, me and Bob. The town board will communicate new park projects to the Claremont Parks Committee in advance. Committee members will be appointed for 1-year terms, including a chair and a secretary. Minutes from committee meetings will be made available to the town clerk. So perhaps we can wait on this if we want when we're all in person, but the committee, at least, they're continuing. I don't know what sort of official acknowledgement we should make of that committee moving forward, but there is the group voted to have Amy lead that committee with Jen moving forward. And I think the idea was that sort of they would, I don't know if we need to appoint every member or just the leadership on an annual basis. We hadn't sort of made the decision about what that would look like moving forward.
Okay. Yeah, we could certainly appoint Amy as the chair of that committee if we want, and Jennifer, I don't know. Every member doesn't have to be appointed to it, but I mean, certainly anybody could take part of it, be part of the committee. But we can do those appointments as far as I'm concerned right now. If anybody has any objections, we can wait, but I don't see any reason not to.
That would make sense to me, but I think it's okay to wait too if we want to.
I've actually got some questions.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last meeting that we had at the town hall in person, what was it, the special meeting?
Yeah.
We talked about the committee potentially moving forward, and I just want to point out, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I have had no communication regarding the park committee or any of the events since then. So I knew that the order was in for the plants.
Yeah.
I had no idea that the planting was taking effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the committee was curious about moving forward, but I was unaware that the committee had actually came to be once again, or any of the details about it. So
yeah.
I don't know if I have fallen off an email list where I had always received all the information about the committee. And I think, as you know, I've been very involved in volunteering my time as well.
Yeah.
So I had no idea of anything that was taking place, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Chris, just given the situation with COVID right now. Basically, we just tried to minimize the number of people that were doing the planting overall, and it just.
Oh, I can understand that, but I thought I would have at least known that something was happening at the park.
Yeah. So moving forward, there is an email list that I can add everyone to the board to. I'd be happy to do that if that would make sense. And I mean, however the board wants to be incorporated into those communications is great. It would certainly be helpful to have more hands on deck.
Well, I think Mary Howard used to have, I don't know if it was the same list or two different lists, but she at one time had a list of committee members and then a list of volunteers. And I don't know if she combined them into one, but it was certainly useful that way. I assume it was useful for her as well when she needed volunteers. That was something that she could rely on.
Yeah,
but, in addition to that, I'm curious to know how the committee was communicated for anyone who had an interest.
So what I did, Chris, is just email everyone who was previously on the committee and asked who wanted to continue, including Mary, and the individuals who responded that they wanted to continue, I put them on a list, and then I actually made several emails to that larger group to see if anyone wanted to be on the committee moving forward. And those who responded, I added to the this call on the 26th.
Okay, so it was basically a sub list of the original committee.
Right. Yep.
Okay. So, I guess my point is that it kind of excludes anyone else who may have an interest, and it may have more members or community members who may be interested.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I think it would be nice for the committee to expand and have more people involved. And however we want to handle that would be terrific.
Okay. Well, we certainly, we don't want to leave people off the list if people want to be involved and help out. Absolutely. So.
Right. I'm just
I think
curious to, do we want to post something on the website even, or how do we broaden that to be more inclusive? Is that something maybe we wanted? I don't know the communication methods, and I don't know if posting something on the website is the right thing. I'm actually reaching out and asking what people's opinions are, the other board members.
Well, one of the things that I suggest at this point is that, given the potential financial constraints we're going to be under, that we've got a few things. We've done some planting. We've talked about putting a couple benches up on the monument hill in the path there, and maybe wait till after we're back together again, give it a month or two to settle in, and then see how we want to prioritize some of the things that are going to be coming up. I mean, I don't think that'll hurt anything. We've got some done, and we'll be doing more. But
I don't disagree with that, Bob. At this point, I mean, I don't think I'm still waiting to see. We've received our sales tax check. I'm waiting to see what the revenues look like. Even though we do have designated funds for the park, again, the perception of us going and spending all this money on the park doesn't sit well for a lot of people. So, I think at this point, we've done what we said we were going to do. The fencing, I think we've done enough, Dawn, to satisfy the grant, correct?
The only thing we have left is that fencing.
Does that have to be done as part of the grant, or can the trees kind of basically be counted as the?
I mean, I can send an email to my contact there and say that with the current situation, we would like to put the fence on hold, and if that's going to interfere with us completing the grant, and see what they have to say.
Yeah, and let them know that we spent all the money on the trees and stuff. So I mean, we spent more, plenty enough to cover the grant to offset, I believe. Yeah. So I think that would probably be fine. But
I will do that this week. I'll reach out this week and see if that's an issue or not.
Okay.
If it is an issue, would there be harm in picking up the materials and just putting them to the side until we're able to do more with
Right.
it, or
Or
is it more focused around the spending the money?
Well, the other thing I can do is ask them for an extension, saying that with the current situation, we don't want to have people gathering, and can we get an extension, say, till September to finish the fence?
I'm also
That might be good.
curious, Don, if we actually have to complete everything. I think I mean, I don't know what the terms of the grant are, but maybe we should just.
It was. I mean, it's
investigate
pretty
that.
general. It didn't. I mean, it just said that the project needed to be complete by June 1st.
Well, I mean, as far as, you know, spending the money, we spent plenty of money to to offset what they've given us for a grant.
Yeah.
We could say it's complete other than the fence isn't there, but I mean, we certainly can. You can certainly ask them and see what they say.
Okay.
How
if
much
it's an
are we
issue,
getting from that?
No.
How much are we expecting from that grant?
We already received the $5,000 from the grant, and we spent that, and then we spent the $750 from the Bank of Greene County, and I think I'm not sure we spent another few $100s. I'd have to edit all of our own money to date.
Okay. So if we don't do enough, are they going to ask for money back? You said we've already gotten the grant?
I kind of doubt that. But
do we actually get the money, or we just got approval of the grant?
No, we received a check for $5,000 last June.
Okay.
So when we received the approval letter, the check was there.
Okay.
So let me reach out
I
this
suggest,
week.
I think your suggestion, Dawn, of asking them if we can get an extension, or we're going to do the fence a little later because we don't want to get too many people close to each other and all of that, and see if if they're happy with that. If not, we'll do something different.
Okay. Let me reach out this week. I hope I can. In the last week, I've had direct email contact with someone there, so I think that I can get an answer pretty quickly.
Okay.
All right. I think they'll be more than lenient with this because I mean we did spend well more than the money they granted us for work there. So I think it'll pretty much. I don't think there's going to be an issue, but just check with them.
Okay. All right. Let me do that.
Safe.
Okay.
All right.
So just to follow up, Chris, on your question, one thing we could do potentially would just be to have like a Google form, like a form sign up where people could express interest in either volunteering or being on the park committee that the park committee could like manage intake from or something like that. So maybe you and I can work on that, because I think we should definitely have a place for people who express interest to get involved. One of the things that I also wanted to report on is the park sign. I have not had time to actually get a draft back on that yet from Fast Signs, but definitely by the next meeting or sometime this week, I'll hopefully be able to get some sort of draft to all of you. But the idea on that was also like at the bottom, we should have a place where, to say that if you'd like to volunteer, go here. So maybe we can incorporate that into the website so people can get involved. Because I absolutely agree, we should be inviting new members in.
Okay. Yep.
And then the other thing I wanted to just mention is that the town email list, we now have 44 people on that list. We sent out emails on April 16th and 28th, and I would like to send out one this week because there's a mobile testing site that's going to open up on May 8th at Columbia Green.
Columbia Green, right.
Yeah, so I want to make sure that people know about that. And anyways, that another one will come out this week. So if there's content you think we should include, please email me and I'll send a draft out.
And that's also posted on the website already. Or I
great.
should say a link.
Oh, terrific.
There's rather than repost what the county has, I've just added some information and have the links directly to I have the date. So at least that part is there. Perfect. With a link to the county website.
Okay, great.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, back to the park. Do we want to go ahead and appoint Amy as the chair at this point, or do we want to wait until we get together in June and go through the sign and do it all at once?
I would move to appoint her now. That's fine. Just with the understanding that we're not going to do a whole lot till we get back together and prioritize some stuff.
They
So I think
recognize
we can
that for
appoint her.
sure.
But-
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm impartial. I mean, if nothing's going to get done, then I don't see the reason to do it now. But if we want to do it, I have no issue either way.
I think it's good to do it now and
Mhm.
show the committee that we're maintaining momentum with this.
I
Okay.
agree.
All right.
I
So,
also think
Bob,
the
was that a
committee
motion?
may change if
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
That
Bob
was
made
a
a motion. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second that.
All right. All in
Is that
favor?
Lindsay?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Sorry,
Carried.
was that
That was-
Lindsay that seconded?
That was me. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, moving on. Chris, do you have anything update about the website?
Yeah, actually, I've got a couple of things I want to talk about.
Okay.
First, I've had some inquiries about when the public would be able to attend our meetings again.
Okay.
I don't know if you had. I had sent you an email yesterday about it. I don't know if you saw it, but
I saw it late today. Actually, I saw it today before we got started.
okay. So that's a question. I don't know if you want to talk on that or just if it's sort of a open-ended question that we don't know yet.
Well, I tell you, I mean, I was hoping that this would be done by now. Obviously, this month we still have to have this meeting. I'm hoping by June we get back together in person and have the public meeting. If I really thought this out in the beginning and it was going to take this long and last this long, we could have had the public invited into these meetings and had comments as well. But I just didn't think far enough in advance for this. So I'm thinking, by the time our next meeting rolls around, we should be meeting hopefully in person. And if not, we will probably try to make arrangements for public comment and public interaction with our meeting.
So if we're not able to meet by June, do you think we'll have public attendance capability in the meeting?
What we can do is we can advertise the link to the number and actually have people sign on just like we do, and then just have them obviously hold their comments until we actually allow them to speak at a public comment period. Yes.
Okay.
We don't often get very many people at the meetings. I would think that by June, even if we have to say, well, we'll sit a little further apart and wear masks, and anybody coming in has to have a mask, and we've got masks for them.
Yep.
They'll just have to, sit a little ways apart. If some of them have to go in the judge's room, they can do that too and still hear. Right. I mean, we see how it looks when we get close to that, but that seems like a possibility also.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's it's probably going to be to the point where we're going to have to start opening things back up. So I believe June everybody should be able to attend the actual meeting if they'd like to. If not, we'll make arrangements where they can call in.
Okay.
I would just say that if we do that, Ray, we should obviously change the format of the town hall, like where we're sitting, and probably remove half of the chairs and that type of thing, just to.
Yeah, we'll have to space the chairs out, at least 6 or 7 feet apart. So, I mean, again, luckily we only have a handful of people to come.
Mm-hmm.
But then, we'll let Mary sit up at the judge's desk up behind us, and we'll space the table out and make sure nobody's close to each other. So, but yes, we will make arrangements to make it,
Well, just a suggestion, if we turn the table 90 degrees and we sit on each side of a table to give the space of the table between us, it would take up probably a large amount of room, but it would certainly put the board in a position where we're all spaced out. Just a thought.
Yep. Okay. We'll make it work. Absolutely. So.
Can I just say something?
Sure. Go ahead, Mary.
Yep.
If you're going to put me up in the judge's bench, I want the gavel.
As long as you don't hit me with it.
I gavel you in and out.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, Chris, you have anything else?
Yeah, I've also got an inquiry about regarding the Canaan Fellowship. And there's, of course, a question as to when that will open back up. And also if it's going to remain closed for any period of time, whether or not it's possible for someone to come and get the audiovisual equipment from the community house, and if so, what kind of arrangements would need to be made to do that?
Well, they can come and get any equipment they want anytime that they want. It's their equipment in there. So it's, as far as how long it's going to remain closed, I mean, it's hard to say at this point, but for the immediate future, for this month, I believe for May, I don't think there should be meeting there. But I have not spoke to them.
I don't think we ever told them not to meet there. They decided that on their own.
Correct.
I think you're right, Bob.
Yep.
Because I know I went by there one Sunday and didn't see any cars, and I happened to see the Tubals out walking, and I stopped and talked to them for a minute and said, were they not meeting there? They said they were meeting in homes. So they were kind of splitting up their meeting, and they were actually, I think, putting it on the computer somehow too, so that they were split apart physically, but together, on the computer.
Bob, did you ask them specifically if they were doing that voluntarily? I'm just curious if they felt that with the town hall closed, that also closed the community. I'm not sure if there's a misunderstanding or not.
I didn't ask them about that. I just had the impression, because I know that the month or the week before that, or a couple of weeks before that, I actually attended one of their meetings, and they kind of took a vote then as to whether they would keep meeting. But then later, when I didn't see cars there, and I asked Bill and Claudia, and they said, well, they had decided. So I didn't think they. Okay. I don't know if anybody told them. I didn't tell them not to meet there. I don't know if anybody else.
I never heard from them. They never said anything. First I heard was from you, Bob, at our last meeting, our last town board meeting, when you mentioned it. So right. I think they just did that on their own.
Okay,
and I haven't seen
the girl there.
I haven't seen the girl there to clean, but wouldn't have to necessarily, either, because no one's using it. But
no, Chris, who was it that wanted to get the communication equipment out of there? Was that the Cajun Fellowship people, or somebody else that wanted to borrow it?
Evan actually asked about getting the audiovisual equipment, and I believe he's under the impression that he needs our approval to do that. So he was just asking, how to go about doing that. So I thought I'd bring it up.
But I think that's their equipment, isn't it?
It is.
I believe so, but it's in the community house. So that's why I feel the impression that I have is that they believe that it's closed just like the town hall is closed. So
they're looking for permission just to enter the building to get the equipment.
Correct. Yep.
I would say
I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, as long as they maintain a distance, if it's more than one of them, and follow the rules.
Yeah, right. They absolutely can go in and get whatever they need to get their equipment, their any of their supplies, anything they had in there is theirs. Obviously, they can go in anytime they need to get it.
Okay, so. I'll pass that on then.
Okay. If you're going to talk to Evan, you could mention that we were under the impression that they moved themselves out, that we didn't. I mean, or do we want to say now that we are actually closing that building to anybody?
Well, I mean, as of the governor's still, there's no mass gatherings allowed. So, I mean, I don't think we should be encouraging them to go back in there, obviously. So if they're not in there at this point, I think it's probably a good thing. I don't know if we want to turn around and tell them, that's okay. Absolutely. Let's let them stay closed for now, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Very good.
So, last item for the website itself. I had mentioned in an email about putting up and I don't think it's well worded, but I did add a section for assistance, and as far as people seeking assistance. And what I ended up doing is under the heading Our Community, I added a link that said assistance available, and I think that's poorly worded. Perhaps it should be left as a question, do you need assistance? And then they could click on it. But I know Dawn responded. She was going to add some information for me to put there. And what I also wanted to do, I was kind of surprised when I started to look around, but we have no link to the Claremont Fire Department. And I thought maybe on the homepage under emergency, we could add a link to the Claremont Fire Department. And I also know from years past that the fire department had relationships with some people who were truly in need. And I thought maybe a little collaboration if I reach out to them. I did email, who'd I email today? It was early this morning. Anyway, I did send an email communicating that I wanted to add that to their website, a link to their website on our website, and also reach out to see if they know of anyone, maybe they could direct them to our website, or if there's specific needs, we could try to find some assistance, whatever is available. And between the two of us work together that way.
Okay.
Question, Mary, I think you can answer this probably better, but is there two separate websites, one for the fire company and one for the fire commissioners? Or is it all one?
There is a Claremont. Oh, well, now you got me stumped.
It's one website, but there are two different pages that you can click on.
Claremont Fire District Official. That's one page. I think maybe that's what you've seen on Facebook. Are you talking or?
No, it's a website. I think I have to go back and look at the website itself.
Yeah, well, I'll leave that up to you, Chris. I would just want to point out that there is two separate entities. They're certainly closely linked, but if you link to the wrong one, you may not be getting them people the help that they were expecting to get because we went to the commissioners instead of the company, or vice versa.
What kind of help? What kind of help would you be looking for? Because yes, Bob's right. There's the district and there's the fire department. So I don't know what.
I just remember from years past where there were some folks who were in need, and it was around the Christmas holiday. That's how it was discovered. And with the current situation that we're in, I can only assume there may be individuals who were struggling before, maybe in a different position today as well. And if there's anything that we can do to help, I want to open that door up.
I can only think, I don't think Claremont does anything like that, but I remember at one time Germantown Fire did at Christmas time. They used to take kids.
Right. I mean, I'm trying to go, open the doors up beyond that.
Right.
And one of the other items that I had highlighted in one of my emails was as I was scrolling through the statistics of our website, I came across a lot of activity around the HEAP program, New York HEAP program. And that's sort of where I got back involved by looking on the new website to find out what we have, what was available. And I think a lot of that information dropped off. It was either outdated or no longer applicable to today. So that's why I decided I did, if you were to look at that link that I've added, there are now links within that to New York State HEAP and New York State Assistance websites.
Under Office for the Aging, if you see our county Office for the Aging, that's where people would go for the application for HEAP, Home Energy Assistance Program. I think that's the name of it.
Right.
What it stands for, right? I think they would. We might have it under that Office for the Aging on the website.
Okay.
As far as getting back to the fire department, the two people that you might want to talk to, Chris, would be Susan Reifenberg. She's the chairman of the fire commissioners, and Lloyd Kukon is the fire chief. So between the two of them, maybe you can, and yourself, you can determine what kind of help might be available and who to link to.
Yeah, it's really more of a information sharing. You know, if they know people that could use assistance, and we have some information on our website, maybe they could direct them to check out our website, or vice versa. We could direct people back to them if they have something that, you know, I kind of want to just try to reach out to the fire department and help each other. That's really my point.
That's a good idea. And if you reach out to them, that maybe they can help. If they can, you know, have anything that you can hook you up with to help out. Those are good people to talk to.
I did notice that they have a link to our website, but we have none back to theirs, and that's, I want to correct that as well. I want to add that. Yeah. And I was thinking right under our emergency heading, maybe right below that, add a link to the fire department, and, you know, have something right on the main page.
You might want to talk to Lloyd a little bit and see, because I know Lloyd's talked to me a couple of times about wanting to get together just, you know, back before we had things closed down in the town hall, but talking about emergency planning. And Dawn, you'd be interested in that, I guess, as well, since you've done the emergency planning. But he wanted to have the town board and the fire company kind of coordinate a little bit together in the emergency plan. Mm-hmm. And we haven't actually done that yet, you know, officially.
Right.
So and I'm glad you mentioned that, Bob, because I was not aware of that. So that I'll include Lloyd as a contact as well then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got to get going. We only got about 15 minutes to finish the meeting, so we're not going to pay bills if we don't finish up. All right, Dawn, you have anything you want to update?
So last Thursday we submitted the Iroquois grant with everything all together. It turned out to be a little bit more than I thought. That it came to about $9,200. And that's 77 trees, and I don't remember what the amount was, but a lot of material to protect the trees from deer. So that was about $9,203, and we requested the entire amount. So they, according to their timetable, they'll let us know about June 15th whether or not we're approved. And one thing I did find when I was going through this time is that we're only eligible for funding for 2 consecutive years. I think if we take a break, we can probably start again. But that, you know, they gave us $5,000 last year. You know, I'm hoping we get at least $5,000 this year, and you know, then we'll have to see about trying to find other sources of funding. On May 15th, the AARP grant is due, and in that grant, we're going to request funding for 5 benches and also the fill to do the path up to the Veterans Monument. So that's due May 15th, and I think it's sometime in the summer that we would find out if we are awarded that grant or not. That's a national grant. I'm sure it's much more competitive than the Iroquois grant, so I'm not really sure, you know, what our chances of getting funding for that. We talked about finishing up the old Iroquois grant, and my only other thing is I sent out an email to everyone. I happened to find out that the town of Livingston is making their Wi-Fi available to the community. They're just telling people that they can pull into the parking lot. And I didn't know if that was something we wanted to do. I don't know if there's a need for it or not. I know the troopers use our Wi-Fi. At least I've heard that. So I was just curious what people felt about that. I also don't want to do anything that's going to put our connection at risk, because I don't want it to be that Mary goes down there on some day and she doesn't have Wi-Fi because whatever's happened. So I was just curious what people thought of that.
I do know GTEL is advertising that they are putting it. It's at our ball field parking lot because they're using their substation. I believe they're putting a signal out over there, so it is available there for free.
Oh, okay. So we can let people know that in the newsletter then.
Yeah, I saw it advertised at the bank, and they've told us about that they were doing that. The town hall, we've had that in the past. I don't know what, Mary, that's not open to the public anymore, correct?
No, I don't know what happened. It got messed up somehow, but, and I think once in a while they sat there and, got in on the Wi-Fi, but no more,
So if we can tell them over at the park, that's good.
But it is at the ball field. If the ball field over at on 6, correct?
Route 6. Yep.
Okay.
Dawn, when you submit that for that grant for the benches and things up on the Monument Hill, you might mention that they're overlooking soccer fields that are used by 3 different towns. So it's a regional thing. I'm sure you've probably done that kind of thing in the past anyway, right?
Yes.
But
Yep. We'll
just
do
wanted
that.
to remind you. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Very good. All right, to keep moving along, old business park update. Really
We've
isn't too
done
much
that.
to. Yeah, we've done all
We
that.
did
We've talked
that, right?
about the park. We've talked about the updates on the park.
Yeah, I just had one, Ray, I just had one small thing to add. The park committee did look at the path up to the Veterans Monument, and Amy actually just sent me yesterday an email with like a visual of maybe an alternative or a slightly adjusted path. So anyways, I'll forward that on, and maybe you can help me get that out to everyone.
All right, we can look at that, moving forward before we do anything with it. We can take a look at what she suggested, sure. So, okay. New business, just to let everybody know, we received our sales tax check, which you can see in the revenues. It did come in about 4% higher than last year, which is good. They did predict that. They told us that was coming. It's the rest of the checks that they're predicting to be 15 to 20% less. Running the numbers with receiving that check a little bit higher and running the numbers, even if we did hit a 20% reduction for the rest of the year, our sales tax revenue would come in just about exactly what we budgeted, only because we under budgeted quite a bit. So we're lucky in that aspect. So if we do actually take a 20% hit on the rest of the revenue for the rest of the year for sales tax, we will be almost where we budgeted. So we'll be real close to being, okay. So, I don't want to advertise that we're going to be okay, but I think, we're all going to feel it a little bit somewhere, but I think we'll be better than originally thought. So, I'm not overly concerned about our revenue for the rest of the year, as long as everything comes in reasonably close to 20% or, around there. Just to let everybody know, the CHIPS funding has been, they said that this still is funded. It's considered essential services. As of right now, there is no plan or any time, anytime soon they're thinking about taking it out. Things can change day by day, but as of right now, they're saying the CHIPS funding should come, should be there. So, what I told Jimmy is to go ahead and spend the amount that the CHIPS funding covers, but not our portion. So just in case we would have to, come up with the money to pay for it, we'd at least have the money that we were going to budget to pay for it. But right now I want him to hold off on that other, that other part. So he's going to spend the CHIPS amount, and then we'll see if we get reimbursed. And then maybe later in the year, we could also put some more money back in if things look a little better. But at least it'll save us about $40,000 if we hold off on that part, our portion.
Now, did you find out something about the CHIPS money since the announcement that they were not going to give discretionary money to the, or are you just basing that on what you knew before?
This is on what I knew before. The CHIPS funding is not discretionary; is essential. So they're considering it essential. So, so it's supposed to be there. So as far as we go for now, it's going to be there. So, yeah. Let's. Now the other thing, last thing, I want to keep it moving here because we only got a few minutes left. The fuel oil. We did talk about possibly locking in a fuel oil rate. Spoke to a couple companies already this year, talking about next year's fuel oil rates. Valley Energy is who we've been using. They're offering $1.89.9 if we wanted to lock in for next heating season, which is about 50 cents. It is exactly 50 cents less than we paid this past heating season. I think it's a good move because yes, the market's slow. It's volatile right now. I don't think it can go down a whole lot more, and there's a whole lot worse of an upside prediction. And I think this would lock us in at 50 cents less a gallon than we budgeted last year and save us, money going forward. So I would like to say I think we should lock in the rate now for this. They're holding the rate until tomorrow morning for me. But I think we should go ahead and lock this in for next year unless anybody has any other objections or comments.
Did you get quotes from 2 other companies?
I called K&H, which is a local guy which does our servicing. He couldn't touch that rate. I did tell him how much it was. I says, listen, we're looking for a price. He says, well, it's kind of early for a lock-in price. I says, well, we're getting this price. He goes, that's a really good price. I can't touch it. I did call Main Care, which is another company we've used and we do for propane. We use them for the highway garage. They were not willing to give a rate or lock-in rate at this point. They said they wouldn't do it. So
I also got information from Bottini. Two different people said they got rates of 205 or 235 from them. The one that got 205 was a customer that's been on our buying program with Valley Oil for the last couple of years, and there was another friend that's dealt with them for years from St. Christopher's, and when he called and asked him about 205, the person he talked to said, "Well, I don't know where you got that rate because our rate right now is 235." So,
yeah, I mean the rates are a little bit higher. I mean, I think right now I think that's you're not going to get any cheaper than that.
I think anything over $2 is really somebody who it's a very poor price right now because the prices are down. So anything over $2 is outlandish at this point. And I know Valley Oil is also the cheapest place around to fill up on diesel. So anybody who's driving a diesel, go to Valley Oil and fill up because they're the cheapest place around. So I'm also in favor, Ray, of going ahead and locking in.
I'll make the motion that we lock in.
Yeah, I think it's a good chance for us to lock in a budgetary savings right off the bat. I mean, I don't see that much of more of a downside if possible. At this point, it's going to go up. Everybody knows it's going to go up when everything opens up. So, yeah. So if
I'll
you're
make the motion
on board,
that we lock it in.
Okay.
I'll second.
Is that 1.899?
1.899.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Bob's moved it, and Chris seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay. Supervisor report. Just wanted to let everybody know quickly that I had some downtime, so I took care of the handicap bathroom scenario in the town hall. I went in there last week and tore the doors out and put a new door in the women's side, a 3-foot door, and took down the divider wall and put it back together and built a ramp to go in from the meeting room into the back room. So it was done, and I donated my time for me and my guys, but it was $248 and change, I think, was the total materials, which was in the abstracts for tonight I put to the town bill. So the labor, like I said, was all donated, but the materials I bought. So it is done. It's something we budgeted, but I think it was time to do it, save some money. We got it done now. So.
And a beautiful
and it came out very well, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody could see it when we open it up next month. So, other than that, I just want to thank everybody that was involved with helping with the park. Lindley, again, Saturday planting, Amy and her husband, and Mary was there. And I don't know who else came after I left, but I really appreciate everybody that did show up. I think it did go well, and I really do appreciate everybody's help on that. So they do look nice. I think it will definitely help add some character.
It does look very nice.
Appreciate that.
We got about 5 minutes left, so
other than that, I'm ready to move to pay abstracts.
Move to pay general abstract number 5A, vouchers 111 through 125, in the amount of $6,246.75.
Second.
Dawn seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'll make a motion to pay highway abstract number 5, vouchers number 37 through 44, in the amount of $18,645.85.
Second.
Bob seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And we'll move to pay general prepaid abstract number 5, vouchers 108 through 110, in the amount of $184.53.
Second.
Okay, Dawn seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, I think that's about it. Again, I want to thank everybody for the help in the park, and thank everybody, Bob and Dawn, both of you were there for the hand sanitizer and the masks for quite a while the other night. I appreciate you guys coming in for that too. I think that was nice. It helped out the community a little bit, and look forward to doing it again when we get some more. So, other than that, anybody else has any other comments?
I have a question that I got from the community the other day, Ray. Do we know when grievance day is going to be this year?
John Gall was there the other night asking about that as well, and I don't know if he actually got the answer, and I don't have the answer from Suzette, which is the director of real property.
Mm-hmm.
June, what was it? June, Bob, you remember June? Did he say it was June 2nd?
I think it was so early June. I'm not sure.
It was the beginning of June was the date. I'll have to get back to you on that, and then we will have to post it.
Isn't it?
The first Tuesday.
Tuesday, isn't that right, Bob? Isn't that? Usually,
that would be the second, right? I believe so.
Well, but with Cheryl's got two towns, so the statewide date is not the date that we usually use because she has another town,
yes,
so it gets
that's
moved.
in May. The
Right.
statewide date is
Right.
the end of May. So we have it the first week in June, I think on a Tuesday, I believe.
Yes,
It's usually on a Tuesday.
I'm pretty sure it was June 2nd. That is a Tuesday.
Let me see. I can see my calendar here, where I am. If it is, I believe that's usually what it is, but I haven't looked that far ahead yet. June 2nd would be the first Tuesday.
So that would be the date. So he was checking with her, and I have to get a hold of her as well to find out exactly how they want to handle this. But that will be the date, June 2nd.
Right, because we don't know if it's going to be opened up yet,
right.
Or have to do a distance, doing a distance thing, rearrange everything maybe.
Yeah,
or let
that's
people
what we're trying to figure
wait
out.
outside and get one complaint in at a time.
And hopefully this year will be a light year because we don't have a whole lot of going on, but like other years. So
I think that's true, but a lot of people had I know the town's tax rate did not go up significantly, but people are paying a lot more money this year because of the equalization and like thousands of dollars more. So I would expect that there could be a fair amount of activity that we should plan for.
Right.
Okay.
When we were out campaigning, we had quite a few people talking about how their school taxes went up quite a bit. And they were leading that back to the reassessment, if that's, or the equalization, if that's true or not.
Yes.
There's a lot of factors that go into it, but we did have a lot of people bring that up.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll certainly we'll get the details, and what we'll do is we'll get that posted to the website as soon as I'll talk to John Gall, and I'll also have to talk to Suzette in Real Property to find out exactly and coordinate with Cheryl. But we will get that information out as soon as we have it.
So Raymond, can I ask?
Yep.
Did you hear anything on the school budgets? Because they would have normally been at our meeting tonight.
Yes.
But we did have to cancel it. But I'm wondering if they've figured out when they're going to have the school budget elections or anything.
I have not heard. They have not contacted me. I have not heard anything on that. No.
Okay. Well, I'll try and see if I hear anything and maybe invite them, for whatever meeting it happens to be when they get their budgets done, if you want.
Yeah, no, I think that was postponed or pushed off too. So, I mean, June meeting may work for them. I'm not sure. We have to find out. So.
Okay. All right. I'll try.
Yeah, with our meetings limited to an hour if we're on the phone, we don't really have time for them to come in.
Can't do it on the
No.
phone. No.
Not on a school budget. No.
No.
Yeah.
So.
No, because
All right.
you get the libraries and everything else. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, we have a couple minutes left, so I just want to thank everybody again for the different handling this with a different phone call and a conference call. But we'll get through this, and next month hopefully we get back to somewhat normal and be able to handle the business regularly. So I appreciate everybody putting up with this and handling it with me. So, and with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody second? Chris second?
You had a lot of simultaneous seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Who ended up
Thank
with
you.
the second? Lindsay or Chris?
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Chris.
All right.
Chris got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Good
Have a
night,
good night.
everyone. All right. Bye.
Bye.